For years, Pokémon fans have been clamoring for remakes of the fourth generation of Pokémon games. Now that they are finally out, do they live up to the expectations? As with the original Generation 4 Pokémon games, the opening moments of Pokémon Brilliant Diamond sees the player choose the starter Pokémon of their choice to fend off a few Pokémon that are trying to attack you and your rival. After witnessing the player's natural ability to train the Pokémon, Professor Rowan tasks the player and their rival to travel across the Sinnoh region to complete the Pokédex and compete in the Gym Challenge. While on this grand adventure, the player will also encounter Team Galactic, an evil organization led by Cyrus, whose plan is to harness various forms of energy and find a way to reshape the universe into its image. Now it's up to you to stop Cyrus, complete the Pokédex, and become the Pokémon League champion, while not horrible. Those looking for a deep, engaging story should probably look elsewhere. For one, the plot follows the typical story beats introduced in the previous games, and the characters are pretty one-dimensional and aren't fleshed out a lot for the most part. For example, your rival, who is one of the recurring characters in the story, only has one character trait to him. He is always in a rush and jumps blindly into situations without thinking them through. That said, the game is faithful to the original Generation 4 games, so if you were looking for a modern take on those classic titles, this is the game for you. Throughout your adventure, you'll come across countless species and types of Pokémon, all of which can potentially help you on your quest. This is where the primary mechanics of Brilliant Diamond come in. Like the other mainline Pokémon games, Brilliant Diamond revolves around catching and battling Pokémon, starting with the battle mechanics. As with the previous games, a battle can occur in a few different ways while traveling. You may encounter wild Pokémon in areas such as tall grass or while exploring a cave. When the encounter does occur, the player will stop in their tracks, and a battle will ensue. At this moment, the player will face off against a random Pokémon. Another way the player may enter a battle is if they encounter a trainer. If the player crosses paths with another trainer, they may stop you and challenge you to a fight. For these battles, you'll want to have a well-rounded team of Pokémon. The reason for this is that you'll want to cover each character's specific strengths and weaknesses. For example, the firefighting type Infernape is weak to water and flying type moves, so you'll want a Pokémon that can support you when you're battling a flying or water type Pokémon, in addition to the character's type. The moves they can use in battle also have classes, such as electric or fighting type moves. The actions will be marked to highlight effectiveness against your opponent to make this easier for players. However, this feature will only become active if you have already encountered that Pokémon species in the wild or in another trainer battle. Because of this, it's essential to learn the opponent's weaknesses. Otherwise, your attack will not be effective. While it hasn't changed a lot from the older games, these tried and true battle mechanics are still a lot of fun, so newcomers and longtime fans will find something to enjoy. Earlier I mentioned that you'll want a well-rounded team for these battles. To do that, you'll first need to capture some Pokémon as you progress through the game. The Pokemarts will gradually increase the variety of Pokeballs that they carry, most of which have unique quirks. For example, Quick Balls have a significantly higher catch rate if thrown on the first turn of the battle, whereas Dusk Balls have an increased catch rate at night or in caves. In addition to using the correct Pokeballs, weakening the Pokémon before catching it is also good. Lowering the character's HP and giving them a status condition such as paralysis will make catching the wild Pokémon considerably easier. By catching Pokémon, you're not only building a stronger team, but you're also gradually filling your Pokédex. The Pokédex has always been one of my favorite features of the games, as a lot of the Dex entries can be fascinating. An additional way to make filling your Pokédex a little easier is going to the Grand Underground. After getting the Explorer kit early in the game, you'll be able to access this new area. Here, you can explore the underground with friends, people online, or venture through the area alone. Within the Grand Underground, you'll come across multiple rooms, each of which features a habitat home to several various species of Pokémon, some of which are not generally found within the Sinnoh region. The player can influence some of the characters that are found here. This is done by placing Pokémon statues in the player's secret base. The type of Pokémon the statue is will determine what type of Pokémon will be influenced. For example, by placing fire-type statues down, You'll be more likely to run into rare fire-type Pokémon in the Fire Habitat room by digging in places marked on the walls of the Grand Underground. The player can potentially uncover these statues and many other treasures while playing a short minigame. In this minigame, the player will dig into a wall and uncover treasure using the on-screen pickaxe and hammer. As they dig into the wall, a meter at the top of the screen will gradually fill. Once it does, the wall will collapse, and any treasure that has not been fully uncovered will be lost. Located in Hearthome City is another minigame available for players looking for a break from battling and catching. Here players will have the opportunity to join super contests. This competition judges several attributes of the Pokémon, such as their ability to dance, an evaluation of the contest move they use during the match, and how the Pokémon looks. The first round will be based on how the Pokémon looks during the contests. To prep for this round, players can give their Pokémon a treat known as Poffins, which will increase certain factors of how the Pokémon looks. These treats can potentially increase the coolness, toughness, cleverness, beauty, and even the cuteness factor of the Pokémon. To get more goodies to help boost these stats, the player can cook them while in Hearthome City. To do this, the player will add some berries to a pot and slowly stir it so the ingredients don't burn. Once the Poffin is created, the player can boost the stats of the Pokémon before entering the contest. The Pokémon will be judged based on how well it can dance in the contest's second round. This part of the contest is essentially a rhythm minigame, and it is up to the player to react to the on-screen notifications on time, based on your performance. How well you stay in rhythm will gradually increase or decrease the Pokémon's groove points during the match. The player can also use the move they selected before participating in the Super Contest during the second round. Based on the type of move you chose, you will get a different result during the contest. After the dance concludes, the results of how the Pokémon performed throughout the competition will be tallied together, and if you win, you will receive a ribbon for your Pokémon. Pokémon Brilliant Diamond is jam-packed with content, with even more features unlocking after you complete the game's story, so players will have plenty to keep them busy with this game. I think it is one of the better Pokémon games to come out in recent years though. It isn't without its problems. While exploring the Sinnoh region, I occasionally ran into some glitches, most sound related. While navigating the menus, the sound effects would cut out at times, leaving only the background music. This same issue also occasionally happened during the game's many battles. Here, the menu and battle sound effects would cut out, and only the background music would remain. Issues like these took me out of the experience when they showed up, thankfully. Those were the only issues that occurred during my time with the game, and they were rare at that. While it isn't the Nintendo Switch's best, Brilliant Diamond's graphics are still pretty good. By incorporating a chibi art style, the game harkens back to the original game's art direction. Because of this, these cutesy graphics help add to the nostalgic trip the players of the original Generation 4 games will experience while exploring the Sinnoh region. The only issue with this art direction is that it feels like a step back compared to the last release, Pokémon Sword and Shield. The character models had more realistic proportions in those games, and the animations weren't as static. That said, the chibi style does change a bit when the player enters a battle. When this happens, the style will shift to something more reminiscent of what was seen in the Sword and Shield games. While the chibi style is nice, I hope they switch back to the more modern look of the Sword and Shield games for their future releases. While the gameplay is fun, Pokémon Brilliant Diamond relies too heavily on nostalgia, which ultimately holds this game back a bit, unfortunately. While a nice callback to the older games, the new art direction feels like a step backward from their previous release. This plus the occasional sound issues may end up pushing away some players. However, if you can get past those issues, you will find plenty to keep you busy in this Pokémon adventure.